Well, let's dive into today's AMA, Ignacio. Really, one of the things we want to really remind our community is that today it's not just about kind of showing promises, but it's really about kind of some progress that we've been making. We put out a great article pretty recently that we really believe that the foundation is complete. We've got users, we've got clients, we've got real revenue, we've got infrastructure, and now it's time to scale. It's a really exciting moment to be part of Bondex. The token is now live. We're seeing real market reactions as we make announcements. So we made a great announcement last week. And for those that missed it, Ignacio, maybe just talk through that announcement, what it was and why it's important.
You repeat the last part?
The announcement last week. Just would love to know what it was and remind people about that and why it's important.
Yeah. So one of the most exciting, and I think you saw some action there. We acquired Remote3, another job board in this space. This makes us the undisputed leader in terms of traffic flow and of anything related to talent, jobs, careers in the Web3 space. We are the #1 job marketplace for the industry. It also on our way to keep scaling revenue and getting to a sustainable business model that will eventually enable buyback, which I believe is, I've always believed in a sustainable actual company and project, not just hype, not just noise, but hey, do you provide services and value to your users? Is it tokenized? What is the utility drive? And how does the token economy work? And so part of that mission, and what is interesting is that we're using our traditional finance backgrounds to do this in an inorganic way through mergers and acquisitions, right? This is the second acquisition we do. We acquired Web3 Career in the summer. Now we've acquired Remote3. You kind of can see here a little bit of a roll-up play that we're going after. And what we want to do is to own the entire market. And this will drive adoption of our technology and the Bondex platform, the Bondex Reputation Score. When the Bondex Reputation Score is regarded as the new standard of reputation, verified digital reputation, instead of just a PDF resume or a LinkedIn profile, that's when we've won. That's when Bondex is a multi-billion-dollar company.
There is so much to do. It's really exciting. I love seeing this acquisition. Love seeing the response as well. Great response from our community and the market as well, interestingly. And I think the part that gets me excited, we've handed this around, is that now every Google search, or every other Google search for Web3 jobs, crypto jobs, roles, that person now lands within the Bondex ecosystem. And that's just huge. That means we're driving more utility, like Ignacio said. We're really passionate about, the reputation and how that's going to help transform finding and landing your next role, but also being discovered as well. Yeah, so one of the things I actually should have kicked off and said is today's space is a little bit different in that for the very first time, we will be bringing people up to ask questions live. We want this to be predominantly a Q&A session where you can ask Ignacio any question. A couple of caveats: there are no support questions. So if you've got an issue, your wallet's not working or something like that, just send it to the support. We won't be answering those questions, or anything about season 1 or season 2 airdrop. We won't be answering those questions. There is so much that we're trying to build right now. And we've got a lot on our tokenomics and on our product roadmap. So we'd love to kind of keep questions focused around there, or just any kind of curiosities you have about Bondex. And the way it will work is this: if you ask a question live, you will be rewarded with 20 USDT, which is a great reward. But we also recognize that it can be sometimes quite daunting to come up and ask a question. So we want to make it a little bit easier for those that actually want to do that. And to do it, all you need to do is right now click raise your hand on the Twitter. And when you do that, David will be able to bring you up on stage. And we'll actually bring a few people up at a time. And if you're invited to speak, just unmute yourself. But when you first come in, press mute straight away so you don't disturb everyone else. We want to make this very orderly. But yeah, if you go ahead and click raise hand, it's amazing. We actually put a tweet out earlier. We had over 2,000 questions asked, which is crazy. Even in this live spaces, we've got currently 500 questions being asked. So who knew there were so many questions about Bondex? But let's kick this off. David, do you want to start bringing a couple of people up? And when you come up, guys, speak really clearly. Unmute your microphone if you're asked to speak, and then direct your question at Ignacio. And again, a little reminder: nothing about airdrop, please, nor kind of general support questions like how do I install the latest version of Bondex. We just want to save that for a different time. Okay, so First and foremost, we've got the Crypto King. You are up. If you want to unmute yourself and have a little speak there with Ignacio and ask your question. The Crypto King. Can you hear that? Okay, just want to unmute yourself and ask Ignacio your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. You're through.
My question goes like this. What is the biggest challenge Bondex is solving next? And how will the community involve in shaping that solution? Thank you.
Thank you, Crypto
Did
King.
you get the question?
Thank you, Crypto King. I got it. So, what is the biggest challenge Bondex is facing? How will the community be involved in solving it? I would say that the biggest challenge for Bondex is adoption, right? We want everyone in the world to have a Bondex profile, for everyone in the Web3 industry to begin to use the Bondex platform for hiring, right? So now it's not a startup anymore, it's a scale up, right? So I think it's just adoption. It's a matter of, it's a good problem to have if in terms of challenge. So I guess just growth. And how can the community help grow it? Help us amplify all of our news. When we make announcements about new products, partnerships, help us amplify it on socials. Help us amplify it across all the Telegram channels, all of our community channels. Get pumped up, make some memes, have some fun. That's how can the community help us in spreading the word about Bondex and all the exciting things we have coming up.
Yeah, awesome. That's it. Add on to that as well, okay, that another way you can really help is by creating the best Bondex profile possible. So making sure you go through, increase your reputation, adding all your work history. That's a really great way to help. But would love to see, like Ignacio said, some more memes and whatnot. So the Crypto King, thank you so much for your question. Really appreciate it. And thank you for being part of the community as well. So next up, we're going to go with Amanda. And Amanda, do you want to just unmute yourself and ask away your question?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
We can. And it sounds like you're about to be run over. Watch out for that road.
Okay, so my question is, what's your target and how this different from other project?
How are we different from other projects? It's a very broad question, but I would say that what a clear differentiation of what Bondex is versus other projects is, and this makes me sad, most companies in Web3 have relied on hype and marketing, and ultimately a lot of them, I would say 99% of them, have not delivered a product market fit that delivers a service that generates revenue with a sustainable business model that makes sense. And in fact, there's only a few companies that are actually, essentially make money by providing services in the entire Web3 space. I actually have a list, and none of them are in the social fi or professional networking sphere. We are the only one in our category achieving monetization, right? Just to give you guys some data here, because we were looking at this, I was looking at this with Paul the other day. If you look at the top companies by monthly revenue in Web3, it's like Tether, Circle, Hyperliquid, EdgeX, Tron, Pump.Fun, Athena, Sky Protocol, Jupiter, and Phantom. What do all of them have in common? They range between 700 and 20 million in monthly revenue. They're all DeFi, infrastructure, wallet, exchange companies. None of them are social network companies. And what makes us different is that we're building something that is in the true ideal of Web3, which is to democratize the internet, for people to be empowered to own their data, to monetize their data, to monetize their network. Your network is your net worth, to redistribute the value of the economics of the internet, right? And that's what really sets us apart, is that we're not just another application that is not another wallet, there's not another exchange. We're not just here for speculation. We're actually just solving a problem. We're getting people jobs. We're getting people accessing people to the best possible careers. We're enabling people to build the best reputations for the digital age. I think resumes are obsolete. It's crazy that it's 2025. People, you still apply to a job with like a PDF of a resume of a paper. It's 2035. Like, come on. Why not use blockchain and AI to evolve this infrastructure? That's what we're doing. We're creating the evolution of this. The Bondex profile, the Bondex ID, the reputation score. This is the evolution of the reputation of the internet. And it's something that we need. That was a very long-winded answer to the question. How are we different? Number one is we're building a layer of trust for the internet using blockchain. We are one of the only few projects that has a sustainable business model in the Web3 space that delivers professional.
Awesome. Okay. And next up, we're going to go to, you have just taken yourself down as a listener, I think. So going to hand over to Brandon. And Brandon, you're up. Do you want to ask your question ahead to Ignacio?
My question, how did you get the community involved in developing the project? And how do you build a strong community to grow globally?
Alrighty, Ignacio, did you get that? So how do you get the community involved in the project and how did it originate?
Well, the origination of the community came through the gamification, our Bondex points, right? We believe that your reputation is the new currency of the internet. So that's the idea. What I would say is the community will continue to help us and enjoy in spreading our message by the gamification, the Bondex points, and turning reputation into currency. The tokenization of reputation. That's how we're going to essentially, I would say, achieve mass adoption in the space.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your question as well, Brandon. And we're going to go to Ethan next.
Okay, thank you. So my question, what are your plans for the nearest year in terms of marketing and business development? How do you plan to expand the network community? Partnership is why should investor enter your ecosystem? Just question. Thank you.
Great question. And do you get that, Ignacio? So just basically what partnerships and marketing collaborations are coming up that we should be thinking about?
Well, there's so many exciting things in the pipeline. That's the funny thing about building a Web3 company. In a way, you need to time yourself. You want to excite the world, and as to when these partnerships are unlocked. We have some of the greatest companies in the space that are building integrations with us. I don't know where I can and cannot say, Paul, yet, but all I can say is that I would say that, let's put it this way. From the top 10 projects in the Web3 space, there's a few integrations that we're going to be announcing with them in the next few months.
I think that's safe to say. And I would also add on to that, which is when we've looked around at the space, there are some fantastic, we don't really see people as competition, just as collaborators. We know that what we're building with Bondex is really exciting around professional reputation and how do you get discovered. I mean, if you are an incredible professional, you should be discovered and put forward for roles. And we want to really bring that dream to life for many people who are working really hard, who have built an incredible career, but are struggling to land that next job. We're going to go so deep on that. And there's a lot of other players who are going really deep on identity. But we really think that how you are as a professional, how you show up and the work that you've done should actually help you economically and help you achieve more as well. And there's a lot of other partners who also think that that's an incredible project and an incredible mission to take on. So as Ignacio said, I would really agree in that, which is we have some really big announcements to come. So please do watch this space, turn on notifications and all the rest. So yeah, I'm going to go to the next question and I'm going to bring up Ethan. We tried to bring you up before. Oh no, sorry. I'm going to go to Tolga, sorry. So Tolga, do you want to just unmute yourself? We tried to have you on before. You support Galatasaray, which is a shame. And you've now moved yourself back down to speaker, down to listener, not a problem. Okay. We're now then going to go to Link instead. Link, do you want to unmute yourself?
How does the AI-powered machine learning algorithm prioritize compatibility between candidates and the roles in your platform?
How does the AI work in terms of helping people get roles, Ignacio?
I love this question. Okay, so this is super exciting. There's a lot of marketplaces coming out that are using AI for filtering. And at the end of the day, let's think about this, right? What is the job to be done? People want to get jobs and companies want to get talent, right? That is the talent marketplace, right? How can AI, make this better filtering? But right now it's actually making it super noisy, way more difficult, overwhelming a bunch of data, noise. What we do and what we find is the perfect match is Bondex is blockchain and AI, right? So AI's performance is as good as the data that it's fed, and the best quality data is on chain. So when you have on-chain credentials and an on-chain resume, and that's the infrastructure or the data that is being used to then being filtered with by the AI, that will enable more secure, transparent, faster, and better interactions in the talent market.
Awesome. Thank you, Link, for the question. And again, thank you for being part of the community. Now, Tolga, I've got to be honest, this is your very last chance. We have tried to bring you up 4 times now. Outrageous.
Actually, I don't know what happened at first attempt, but actually, I will share my case, and therefore it will, I hope, make a meaningful question for you. Actually, I have been in crypto space in this part of the process, like being community, asking questions, preparing thread contests, etc. But making always original and upper level. So it's a struggle if you have experience before this period, but no experience in Web3 itself. For example, I use LinkedIn a lot for sharing posts, etc., to explain myself better. So actually, what plans actually you have? For example, Bondex will have any timeline for us to share, our vision, as let's say, not post maybe, but our vision, because it is a very struggle a position for senior people, because Web3 is something new, but you have some experience actually before that. So such apart from reputation, that's okay, that's very nice. And I see you have KYC verification, so it means docs teams looking for people on the Bondex, right? I assume. So will you have such timeline for us to post or any features like that? Thank you.
That's a very, very, very cool, interesting question. It is all about reputation. And what I would say is that is the problem we're trying to crack. That is the problem that we're trying to solve, which is in this overwhelming amount of data and Web3 and who can I trust, who's done what, is he who he says he is, can he do what he says, does he have those skills, can he get those skills, is he capable of learning? And by putting it on chain and having your Bondex profile, you are able to increase your reputation score, and that unlocks better and better economic opportunities for yourself.
So lastly, I will not make it long. Headhunters actually use Bondex to find people. That's all. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course, headhunters are using Bondex to use people. If you guys, as you guys know, Web3 Career is the #1 job board in the space. We acquired it. We operate the #1 job board in the space, now Remote 3. So this is becoming, that's why the Bondex profile is becoming the passport for the future of work. And recruiters are increasingly, being educated over time. It's like, hey, unless they have a Bondex verified score, I'm not going to trust this person. I'm not going to filter them. That's how people are using it. So filters will not go through unless you have a verified score, you have a trust score.
Thank you, Tolga. And I'm going to add to that as well, which is, the more you verify your profile, the higher your chance of discoverability. Right now, we can confidently say that we have the largest talent pool in Web3. You can imagine how valuable that is for companies who are looking for their next hire. But it's also so challenging if you are looking for that very first role. You mentioned, entry level, and trying to get that first role. It's really challenging. And we really want to help people wherever you live to be discovered by the biggest and the best companies. There is rarely a company that hasn't hired through the Bondex ecosystem. If you're looking across the Remote 3, Web3 Career, and Bondex Job, and we want to do the best job in actually sending them people who fit for those roles. And the best thing users can do right now is to go ahead and actually add as much data and information onto your profile and increase that reputation score, because those are the ones that recruiters are looking for. There are so many bots and scammers in this space that if you don't have a profile that's verified, you're essentially the same as, it's very hard to trust. So that's why we're excited about what we're building. And a great question, Tolga. So thank you so much. Next up, I'm going to go to Coda. Thank you for waiting so patiently. We want to unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your questions to Ignacio.
Okay, my question, what does community feedback play in the development of your project? Thank you.
So Ignacio, did you get that? The question was, what role does community feedback play in the development of your project?
Yeah, so community feedback is extremely important to us, right? So this is what's fascinating about Web3. In Web2 or in traditional ventures, the way that traditional iterations of product development work is like people make a product, they get feedback from their users, right? And then they change it until they have something that it's good enough, that they feel comfortable enough that they can charge them for, and then again, they're providing value, right? In Web3, the element of the tokenization and the community is very interesting, because it's like you have all these cheerleaders, right? And you have all these people that can give you additional opinions and can cheer you on and can give you insights and different points of view, right? And a completely global scale, right? So it's really, really good to have a community there in terms of the product, because by Bondex being so global and you being a token holder, even if, for example, we don't have a relatively to, the job market, the whole global job market is massive. The Web3 job market is growing, but it's not as big yet, right? But in the meantime, what really, really makes it great is the fact that we can we can help all of this, essentially the community and the users, help navigate it beyond just the supply and demand of just this kind of a small market for now that is going to keep growing.
Awesome. Coda, thank you so much for your question. And David, let's bring up a couple more speakers. There's plenty of people here wanting to ask a question. So right now, my screen's not showing any. Let me know if I'm wrong on that. Oh, here we go. Jeremy, you're up. Do you want to go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question to Ignacio?
So, how is the Bondex is adjusting its ecosystem during this current market, and what protective steps is the team taking to ensure sustainable growth even when user activity and capital inflow are low, usual than normal?
It's a very mindful question. We generate revenue already, right? So fortunately, it's not like we just have runway and then we have money and we're going to run out and the company will shut down if there's a bear. That's the good news. We've actually already been through one really deep bear. That's why we're so freaking tough at Bondex. We were born in 2021. We've been around for 4.5 years. Here we are. Like, none of the many projects. I mean, I don't know what the percentage is of projects that have been able to stick around and list and continue to fight are, but it's very little. We're extremely resilient. But if I have to answer the question, what do you do during a bear market, or what happens during the bear market? You build, right? Maybe you need to go a little bit leaner on burn. We're already very conscious about how we spend our money, salaries, developers, our technical team. But what you do during bears, I like to call them build markets versus bear markets, right? It is a time for you to then, okay, well, during bull markets, you can also get easily distracted and there's a lot of noise. So if a bear market comes, and I'm not sure if it's here, I'm not a trader, I'm a builder, I'm a CEO. But if it's a bear market, I welcome it with open arms because, number one, we have a solid foundation to keep building through it. And it's also an opportunity to provide people jobs during a tough time.
Thank you, Jeremy. Next up, we're going to bring up, I think I'm going to say this right. This is just someone called Posh. Posh Z. Want to unmute yourself? Just unmute yourself there, Posh, and ask your question to Ignacio.
For bringing up to you to speak today. My question is, how will Bondex ensure that the community continues to benefit from growth and new features, and what incentive or opportunity are planned for active members? Thank you very much.
I mean, I got the general gist of it. There's a famous quote by JFK that says, "Don't ask what your country should do for you, but what can you do for your country." I think that is something I feel. Maybe I'm the founder and a little bit biased to say this, but instead of asking the question, "What are we getting incentives? What are we doing features?" I think a more sustainable thing is, "Hey guys, what are the next features going to be released?" And focus on the fundamentals, like how are you guys going to scale revenue? How are you guys going to sign up the next clients? Because how is the community going to benefit? Well, because you have Bondex points, those you've had an airdrop, you have tokens, you stake your tokens, then you get more tokens, and then you have that redistribution of value. I hope that answers the question.
Amazing. All right. And Posh, thank you very much for that question. Next up, Carl, do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Yeah, am I audible? How does the Bondex plan to support freelancers and gig workers in the Web3 space compared to traditional freelancing platforms? And what measures are in place to prevent spam or low quality referrals in the bounty system, ensuring the high quality talent matches? Thank you.
I like that. That's a very good question. So in traditional freelancer platforms, right? So Upwork, Fiverr, you go there. It takes a lot. Or TopTal is a good one. I actually went through the process of becoming a TopTaler one time, and then because I did banking, I had financial analysis skills, and I wanted, as I was doing research to build Bondex and get my own ideas to build a marketplace, I actually went through the process of TopTal, right? And it took 3 months. They did like case studies and they test you and they do a lot of quality control, and they give you a rating and they give you an hourly rate. And this is what happens. Then there you are relying on the platform that is centralized as the middleman to be the one that pays you, right? And they take a massive cut. In the case of TopTal, which is the best, I think, elite freelancer platform in the world, sometimes if your hourly rate is $100, they will charge the company $200, so they're making 50% margin. I'm not sure what the take rates are right now on Upwork or Fiverr. I think they're between 20 and 30%. So what is the idea of when we enable freelancing platforms, right? So, and we haven't done this yet, but it is in our roadmap. And it's an amazing question, and it makes all the sense in the world. Once you have an identity that is and a reputation that is verified, that you can build, that is portable, that grows with you over time, and that you can, as you perform tasks on a fractional basis on projects, and you can then automatically keep building this reputation. That's the Bondex profile, right? It's a live resume for the first time. But then you have escrow and smart contracts that can ensure that payments get made for the work that you do as a freelancer marketplace. And instead of having 20, 30%, 50% take rates, you can make it so that the fees are much, much lower. And essentially the marketplace is owned by the freelancers, is owned by the talent. The value is redistributed by the freelancers themselves, instead of a centralized party that takes most of the cut and does not share most of the money. And then, not only do we share the revenue and we lower the fees and we disintermediate, right? But also we enable you to aggregate and bridge the work that you do across platforms, right? Upwork wants to keep you there. We think that your Upwork score represents a good signal that you are a good worker, and we will actually verify that your Upwork score is good, and we will add that to your resume, and that will help you get a job on the Bondex platform.
Thank you. Thank you for asking the question. And I think, David, we're going to bring another one up and one more question. And I just want to say again, thank you to everyone who's been asking questions today, but some really good ones. And I think we're at 662 questions in the chat, which is nuts. But we're going to bring one more person up. So if you want up to be yourself, just raise your hand and David will bring you up onto the speaker floor. When you arrive, just unmute yourself straight away, because you'll be able to ask your question straight to Ignacio. So if you want to be up next, put your hand up, which is the little speaker request button. And we're just waiting for that person to come up. So
my question, do you have plans for any ambassador program? And how do you plan to extend your project nationwide in different continents? Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Dexter. So that was, do we have an ambassador program? And the next question was, how do we plan to expand our markets?
So I love that. So we have a job platform, right, that has global jobs, right? And because a lot of jobs in Web3 are remote, it doesn't necessarily mean that we need physical communities. However, what we've realized this year is that every market, after going to conference after conference, we went to Cebu Live in London, we did an activation there, we went to the Korean Blockchain Week, and we realized that every talent market is different. And this is an incredible opportunity. So what are we planning to do? We are going to be working on localizing our platform in terms of languages, and also creating ambassador programs per region to also create communities and basically, for example, sponsor a hackathon, sponsor a trade-a-thon, sponsor a build-a-thon to capture the best talent in certain countries that are relevant especially in Web3, to then match to the jobs. How will this work in the execution? And this is something that's going to happen next year. Korea, for example, that's one of our big targets for next year. We had an amazing experience there. We went to a job fair for college students. So the way that we would do it is we would get an ambassador program there. We would sponsor a hackathon. We would then onboard absolutely everyone that participates in the hackathon with a reward to get a Bondex profile. And we would use that opportunity as well to then, as we're in that country, network with the companies that are there to post their jobs on the platform, and then begin matching that verified talent that has been verified through a hackathon, through a build-a-thon, as a great signal of quality to those jobs. So great question. We're going to be starting regional in real life activations, and Paul, I know you're excited about it. He's going to be leading it. Paul was going to be leading these activations. It's going to be going, probably going around universities as well as the Web3 conference circuit.
Yeah, it's actually super exciting. Can't wait for all that. So yeah, it's going to be good. And guys, I want to also say a big thank you to everyone for joining us. It's been a huge space for us, this one. And so far, it had close to 2,000 people jump in, and we've had close to 3,000 questions asked, which is just nuts in the comments. But big thank you to everyone who had guts and put your hand up and came and asked a question. They were really good questions, and we love hearing from the community and the kind of questions and thoughts that you have. So I just want to give it to you, Ignacio. Is there any kind of final thoughts, anything you want to kind of leave the community with before we end this AMA?
I just want to thank everyone everyone for supporting Bondex. We have been around for a long time. It's really exciting to be, making headway, to be getting traction. And I think we're graduating from startup into a scale up in terms of revenue, users, regions, countries, and it's extremely exciting. So I just want to thank the community for it and be on the lookout because we have incredible partnerships with a lot of educational providers, with a lot of hackathons, anywhere where talent is, Bondex is going to be there to enable and that matchmaking between Web3 opportunities and Web3 talent.
Love it. And with that, we're going to bring this to a close. Guys, thank you so much. We're going to be doing a lot more of these AMAs. So if you haven't already, make sure you have your in-app notifications switched on. Make sure that you have your Telegram announcements and you're subscribed to the Bondex Telegram announcements channel. And obviously subscribe to here and following us here on Twitter. And we'll keep you posted when the next one is. Thank you, guys. And we will see you on the next one. Bye for now.